Welcome everyone to Illiana APA. This is Johnny, Gloria, last name is Maricich. So we just wanted to give you some updates now that we're getting closer to finding out some information. Obviously on the Indiana side, we're seeing a little bit more dates attached to things, not so much on the Illinois side, but we'll dive into that in a bit. So what we're going to do is we are going to finish out the spring session, or session 3. We are not going to have a summer or session 1 session at all. We're going to bypass that. And once the spring session is over with, we're going to go directly into the fall session 2 session. So, you know, it's the best way, I think, for us to do that. We've been in contact with APA, and they are also allowing us to do that.
And by doing that, finishing out session 3 that we're in now is going to take us pretty much the middle of August, end of August, with playoffs and everything. And our session 2 fall session generally doesn't start until mid-September anyway. So there's a couple weeks in between there that we'll figure out what we're going to do once we do have an actual start date for Indiana and Illinois.
So I know that's probably going to generate a lot of questions, but let's go into the things that we do know. So in Indiana, our area, Lake County, of which we have pool playing in, was put on a delay by Governor Holcomb, anywhere from like 7 to 10 days during these stages. So we haven't heard anything about stage 4. Stage 4 is supposed to begin June 14th, which for our league, we're going to start on Monday because they need to play week 9 yet. So it would be Monday, June 15th, we would start. We're hoping that's the date. We're expecting the governor to come out with more information this upcoming week because March 14th is just next weekend.
But it's likely that he could extend the Lake County again another 7 to 10 days, which puts us around the 24th, in which case we'll probably start the 29th, that Monday. So next few days, I'm sure he'll make that announcement of whether they're going to lag Lake County behind the rest of the state, and then but as it stands right now, it's June 15th for all of our Indiana teams.
Right. So you would pick up on Monday, June 15th. That would be the start of week 9. And our intention is to do the full spring session through week 16. And then we'll have a week of playoffs and whatnot. As far as the teams that are playing out of Griffith Billiards, we're going to be in contact with those captains because we will have to rearrange exactly where you're sitting and playing on. We will do table assignments, and we'll talk to you individually, division by division on that.
As we get closer to that day.
Right. All right, on the Illinois side, so we don't know when Governor Pritzker is going to move everybody to phase 4 on the Illinois side. We're hearing through some bar owners and other people that they believe it's going to be June 26th.
And we've called I think we've talked to 95% of the bar owners that we have league play in, and some of them were in the dark as far as that date. Some had that date that they had heard. We haven't seen that date anywhere on the website for Illinois, but it's looking like the 26th, which is the following Monday.
That's a Friday. The following Monday would be the 29th. So if that's Governor Pritzker's plan, we can be playing on the Illinois side as soon as Monday, June 29th.
Which would put the Indiana and Illinois teams 2 weeks out of sync with each other, and once we know that's going to be a fact, then we'll let you know how we're going to manage that difference. So I guess our options would be for both Indiana and Illinois to do week 16, knowing that they're off 2 weeks, or we may stop Illinois side 2 weeks earlier and sync everybody up at the end here. So we're not sure. Once we know more what that Illinois date will be, we'll be able to tell you that. We do know that some bars might have opened already, but that's because they have a food carry out available, and so they're able to open up. All right, so masks and social distancing. So that really is going... I'm probably sitting too close to you, so...
That really is.
Is this working out?
Yeah, come on back. So for masks and social distancing, that's really going to be up to the individual locations that you play out of, and see, what their rules and whatnot are. So again, as we know exactly when we're getting back, you can contact those locations and see what they're requiring for the social distancing and masks.
And so far what we've heard, I mean, the recommendations is to have, by the CDC, is masks, but they're not required. So I know that's what they're saying, but
I think
every bar is different, and we haven't heard of any bar yet that's going to require masks. I know that their staff might have masks.
But I think Governor Pritzker, though, is requiring everyone to wear masks. So there may be a difference between Indiana and Illinois at the end of the day once Stage 4 or Phase 4 opens up. All right, so what do you need to know about what we're going to do to finish out the session? So we will institute our double play rule for the remaining weeks in the Session 3. And the double play rule is that you can play any player twice as long as you keep everything within the 23 handicap rule.
You can play up to 2 people twice. You can literally show up with 3 people, 2 of them play twice, there's your 5 matches.
Right.
And so it's basically like we used to do for Session 1, the summer session. We are in those summer session months, so we thought it would be good to do that, and also it would make it easier for players who can't get some of their teams that can't get some of their players out to be able to meet the 23 rule with maybe a missing player or 2. So double play will be in effect right when we get started back throughout the rest of the session. Does not include playoffs, Tri Cup, citywide, the tournaments. So it's basically the same as it used to be for summer.
So a couple of questions here. Double play option for Illinois, yes. The entire league, once we start up again, we will allow double play to kick in at that point. Steve Mendoza said, what about if Illinois teams go to Indiana bars and play? So we had thought about that. However, we can't have within that division schedule some teams playing and some not. So I think, I don't know if we would take that into consideration unless the entire division wanted to do that.
Well, and here's the other thing. Say the Wednesday All-31 division that all plays in Illinois comes and plays in Indiana for those few weeks. I don't know that we can do it for the Friday division because we're using all of the tables at Griffith on Friday and some of the other surrounding bars. Same thing with the Tuesday division. So I don't think unless we can do it with all of the Illinois teams for those few weeks, and I don't think we can accommodate all of them. So to have one division or so even be out of sync further would just cause much more of a disruption, I think. So since it's only 2 or 3 weeks between when Illinois and Indiana are opening, I think the option is to just keep them separate at this point.
Right. But again, as we find out more information about both Indiana and Illinois, we'll be able to give you more concrete information on that. All right, so let's talk about some of our tournaments that we have coming up. So the Vegas Qualifier tournaments, we have 2 that we have not run yet. The first one is the Jack and Jill Qualifier. That was scheduled for Saturday, June 27th.
And guess what?
Guess what? Our intention is to still keep that tournament on June 27th. So any APA player that is on an Illiana 8-ball team and they meet the requirements, which would be you need 20 8-ball scores in the last 2 years. The combined handicap will be skill limit 10. The cost is $80 per team. If you're interested, then yes, you can play. Even though maybe, let's say, Illinois isn't back playing, you're still considered as being active on a spring roster.
And we'll post that flyer on Facebook again. Have we had people sign up for that tournament already?
We've had a few, yes.
Okay. Right.
The other tournament is the Team Captain Qualifier tournament. The last day that I can run that, and really probably the only day, will be occurring on Saturday, July 11th. So we are moving the Team Captain Qualifier to Saturday, July 11th.
And I just want to clarify, that's not our captain co-captain tournament that we do every session. This is the teams that are
team captains.
Yeah, it's a 3-man team, 3-person team. All our captains within our league, and they're trying to get a spot to to compete in the tournament in Vegas.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually it's a 5-person team, but 3 people compete.
Yeah.
So I will be redoing those flyers and posting them on our website and whatnot, and updating our calendar for that. All right, so let's talk about some of the other tournaments. We canceled April Madness. Well, for one, it's not April anymore.
June Madness? I don't know.
June Madness, July Madness, COVID Madness, who knows? But for now, we have canceled that one. We will be having these following tournaments once we figure out the dates to have them. The MVP for session 3, or the spring session, we still will be having that. We'll pick a date.
And that's usually like week 5 of the next session, so it'll be around that same time.
And then our captain, co-captain Scotch doubles tournament, which is just a cash tournament. You know, you don't advance anywhere for that. We still will be having that. So we'll pick a date for that, probably July or August timeframe. Then citywide. So citywide will be the mid to end of September. We might have to bleed over into that first weekend in October. So what we're going to do this year is we are going to separate 8-ball. We'll have 8-ball on one citywide weekend, and then we'll have 9-ball on another citywide weekend. So I think that's probably the best way to do that, considering, you know, maybe some of the social distancing that may still be in place at that time.
And we don't want to commit to an exact date yet, but we will be able to once we have both Illinois and Indiana teams playing. Then we can nail it. We can nail it down.
All right, let's see. All right, Jaime Arias, you're funny. You want to change the 23 handicap rule to 24-25.
You know what we can do? We could, someone says they wanted to lower their handicap down, and if we did that for the whole league, everybody would be home by about 8:45.
Right.
Everybody's 2s and 3s.
So Steve Tomei would like to move everybody down.
Oh, there you go.
One skill level.
There you go.
We'll get right on that, Steve. Let's see what other questions we have out here. So Joanne said, playing 2 matches to make up the 2-week leg. We're not sure, Joanne. Once we know when Illinois is starting up, and to see if it's only a 2-week difference, we'll see what our options are out there for the Illinois side.
We've got a few ideas, but again, not releasing them because it could be 3 or 4 weeks. We're hoping it's only going to be 2 weeks. So.
Right. And then Zach said, what about the tourneys I already paid into? I'm assuming you're talking about our, maybe the captain, co-captain, or the Jack and Jill. We still have all that money set aside. And if you decide you don't want to participate, you're more than happy to refund you the entire amount.
And if you're talking about an other kind of tournament, either post a message on Facebook or text us.
Right. So we got a couple more questions here. Bobby Vanderhyde, can't add players despite the time lapse. And
yeah, so we're past normally we do roster changes the first 6 weeks of play, although we always consider letting teams, because the way the rule is written is that within the first 6 weeks or with league operator approval. And so in the past, if we maybe have a team that they just fell apart, they're down to 4 people, and they're in second to last place, and they say, hey, we got a person that we want to add to the team, as long as we know who that person is and it's not going to be a handicap issue, we generally allow them to do it. Now, if it's a 8-man team and a boyfriend-girlfriend got in a fight and they broke up and now they only have 7 people on their team and they're in first place, well, a team like that, we're likely not going to allow them. So basically we use that rule as like a survival rule for a team that is really having issues. Try to help them out. Oh. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, just let us know.
Yep. Let's see. We have a couple more questions here. So Jamie Lokowski said, what about the Tuesday Double Jeopardy Indiana League, but one team is out of bank shots? So what we could offer up for Tuesday is that maybe the bank shots team might want to play out of somewhere in Indiana, and then once Illinois opens up back up, they can go play out of their home bar of bank shots.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's the only division that I could think of that has well, I should say Bank Shots is the only bar that we have teams playing either in Indiana or Illinois because we're so close to the border. So, yeah, some of their games will be away games and they'll be in Indiana anyway, but when they are at home.
Right. Just see if we have any other questions. Got a couple of people that joined late. Just so you know, we will be posting this video on our Illiana APA YouTube channel, so you can always go back and view it. I'm going to, after all this, just kind of write up a little summary, and I'll do a news article on our website and the APA app about it as well.
Yeah, you might have players on your team that aren't on Facebook, but anybody can log into YouTube and find our channel that way. So that way they can get the information.
All right.
We've got even more people on our text club, so if you don't have everybody on your team on it, you just simply text PLAY APA, all one word, to 36000, and you'll get a message to opt in, and then once you respond to that, you'll get a welcome screen, and it's basically a one-way text for us. We've probably got 350 people on it by now, us to send a message out to the mass and let us know what's going on.
Great.
So.
All right. All right. I don't. So Ray said, is the 15th just a meeting to see if we come back or not? So again, the dates that we are talked about for on the Indiana side coming back on June 15th, that's all going to hinge on what the governor, Governor Holcomb, says this upcoming week. If he says the Lake County is a go for June 14th, we will start up the leagues on Monday, June 15th.
We'll just drop those packets off that Sunday night, and you'll pick up your envelope like you normally did, and it's like it never happened.
Yay!
But if he says that we're going to, we'll do another Facebook Live a few days before, or even before that, once he has his message out there, and we know it's for sure. But we've talked to some of the bar owners; they're ready to get going.
Yep.
I should say we've talked to
some.
We've talked to
So,
almost all of
and
them.
then on the Illinois side, again, whenever Governor Pritzker lets Phase 4 happen without, any specific areas maybe, being held back. So we're kind of in a waiting game, but we have a plan in place. And as we get closer, we'll start throwing out dates for our citywide tournament, the Best of the Rest tournament. We still intend to hold that. Our Tri-Cup tournaments as well. So, let's see. I think that's it. So, hey, everyone, it's been awesome. Well, it's a one-way conversation, I guess. But hey, thanks for the thumbs up and the highs. We miss you all very much, and we can't wait. It's right around the corner. I can feel it.
Keep your fingers crossed for that June 15th start date. And hopefully we don't have to push it back any further.
June 29th for Illinois.
Right. Yep.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you very much. Be safe out there, and we'll chat with you soon.
Bye, guys.